All right, folks, it's Friday, July 24th, and the market is down, but the coffee's hitting right. What else can we ask for? Sun is shining too, so no complaints over here. And we're going to update you on my XRP buy orders. How this market is moving right now is something to take advantage of, right? This Clarity Act drama, Iran war's back on. We have the carry trade that we're watching out of Japan. There's some macro headwinds that we face, and they definitely are causing problems for crypto. On top of that, we're struggling to get our Crypto Clarity Act passed. But what does this provide you? Heck of an opportunity. We're going to break it down. And we're also going to show you guys how, with or without the Clarity Act, XRP has clarity. We know that. But with or without the Clarity Act, the industry is moving forward. And there's many reasons to still be bullish. Even if we don't get Clarity Act passed, mark my words, we're still going into a bull run. But let's get you guys caught up to speed on this Friday update. We got another platform shutting down. World's former largest Bitcoin mining pool, Poolin, files for bankruptcy. Poolin plans to sell 2 Texas mining sites after listing as little as $1 million in assets, but up to $500 million in liabilities. Whoopsies. It owes roughly $173 million, including $164 million to customers after withdrawals were suspended. At its peak in 2019, Poolin mined roughly 1 in every 7 Bitcoin blocks worldwide. So you combine it with BitMEX, another platform that is shutting its doors. You combine it with Jack Mallers having to step down from 21, his Bitcoin digital asset treasury company. You combine that with Mark Moss's backed Bitcoin digital asset treasury company shutting down and returning investors their money, right? These are all classic bottom signals. Now, I spoke too soon last night in our live show. We do a live show every Tuesday, Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our content. But last night I spoke too soon saying that BitMEX was shutting doors. People were going to have time to get their funds off. And I said this was, not good, but better than the FTX bankruptcy blow up that we got during 2022. Where you have a bunch of people that were out money and lost funds. Well, I said last night, this is good. BitMEX is shutting down, but not really seeing much damage being done. I guess the business just wasn't working, so they're shutting down. Well, I spoke too soon because just hours after announcing their shutdown, BitMEX is being sued in federal court with plaintiffs alleging the exchange rigged liquidations to seize customer Bitcoin, causing losses of 622 Bitcoin. So I spoke too soon. There is a class action lawsuit that has been filed against BitMEX. We'll let that play out in the courts and see how that unfolds. But this is what gets concerning here as we finish off these bear markets. Hedge funds getting liquidated, digital asset treasury companies getting liquidated, but the exchanges going down, platforms like this going down. This is where it gets concerning because you got to make sure that you don't have your funds and your crypto on these platforms without bankruptcy or remote protection. So if they do end up shutting down, if they do end up going bankrupt, you are left in a lineup of other customers and clients waiting to get your assets returned, typically for pennies on the dollar, as we saw with the FTX bankruptcy. So once again, though, those are all bottom signals. Bitcoin miners shutting down. Bitcoin, one of the biggest and oldest perpetual exchanges, BitMEX shutting down. That's a bottom signal. Jack Mallers stepping down, bottom signal. Hedge funds getting liquidated. That's all. These are all bottom signals, guys. The bear market is finishing up. We're about to return into a bull run. Here's your update from Kristen Smith on the Clarity Act. She's the president of the Solana Institute. I've had many conversations since this came out yesterday, and it doesn't reflect the current state of play. This is a tweet from Brendan Peterson from Punchbowl News. I've shared a couple of his reports there. He's in D.C. Majority Leader Thune told reporters the Clarity Act likely won't pass the Senate before August, and asked about it before recess. He says, quote, "I don't think we'll be able to get them done. I would like to at least get clarity started. We'll see where the votes are." Now, Kristen Smith says, this doesn't reflect the current state of play. There is a clear path to pass the Clarity Act before the recess on August 7th, and we must seize it. To the crypto community, this is our moment. We can get this done. So she's still urging us to move, but the DC dance continues, and I want to give a shout out to Digital Asset Investor for catching this hypocrisy. It's disgusting. And Gallego out of Arizona, he got plenty of money from the crypto PACs. So, Senator Gallego, we're watching very closely. Gosh, we're going to punish these guys. We are going to punish them so bad. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. These guys wouldn't even be in office if it wasn't for crypto money in some of these races. Gallego was tightly contested. We didn't forget. We didn't forget how big of a check we cut. And I was warning about this at the time. That you had, just because they're good on crypto doesn't mean they're not going to do the DC dance. Gallego, we're disgusted. You should be ashamed of yourself because of the hypocrisy. We've seen it before. Huge shout out to DAI for finding this one. Senator Gallego says the White House-backed ethics language, calling it, he slammed it. He slammed it, saying it's not a serious effort at compromise. Republicans want DOJ-only enforcement of presidential crypto restrictions, which is, by the way, how ethics are enforced at the federal level right now. State AGs don't enforce federal ethics laws. It is done at the federal level. So the Democrats and others are actually asking for the federal ethics laws for the jurisdiction to be extended to state AGs. That is not how it stands right now. But as DAI points out right here, you got Gallego coming out and saying that this is not a serious effort. You know, that we can't get this done. Same thing that he was doing on the Genius Act. As DAI says right here, I've seen this movie before. May 8th, 2025. This is a little over a year ago. Senator Ruben Gallego, Democrat out of Arizona, says, you know, we're working on it. We're working on the Genius Act. I went to the floor. What does he say? However, legislation of this scope and importance cannot be rushed. I went to the floor and asked for more time to negotiate without delaying the bill's timeline for final passage. Republicans refused. Without more time to at least finish the bill text, there was no true bipartisan path forward. Same thing that he's saying today. Same line of, even though this is a serious bill, 99% of this text has been agreed upon by both parties. This is bipartisan text. It absolutely should be passed. If there's a couple lines that need to be added or tweaked on ethics, let's do it. But, to say that this is not a serious effort, I would contend that it's not a serious effort that you're not coming forward, extending out to the other side of the aisle to work to get this done. I'm pissed off with both Democrats and Republicans. They should be ashamed of themselves. But they have no shame, which is why they do the same thing repeatedly over and over again. Even when we do have a serious compromise, the most aggressive ethics language, yes, it expires in 2029, and I have no good excuse for that. Why they included the expiration of the ethics laws in 2029. It expires, and you can't go back and charge anybody before that. I have no good excuse for that. But to just stop the progress of the bill completely over that is a complete joke. You should be ashamed of yourself. And the crypto money is watching closely, Gallego, and everybody else that got crypto money. and for all the other politicians that wonder why you're about to get smoked in the midterms by the crypto money that doesn't go to your campaign, pay close attention. I know crypto's in a bear market, but we still got money to fund those little campaigns. We're watching closely, and we're going to just punish these guys. Can't wait. Can't wait. D's, R's, we don't care. You're about to get punished. Big time. Gosh. Oh, boy, it gets me excited. With or without the Clarity Act, though, the progress continues. As I calm myself down. Oh, boy. Talking about the DC dance gets me worked up. I don't know about you guys. It's a matter of national security. Major stock exchanges are moving toward crypto-style 24-hour trading as the SEC prepares to examine the shift. September 17th, the SEC will hold a roundtable on what 24-hour trading could mean for U.S. markets, and already we have 5 major exchanges and trading venues already involved. New York NYSE ARCA plans 23-hour weekday trading, working towards a 2026 launch. NASDAQ targets December 6, 2026 for 23-hour trading 5 days a week. The CBOE targets December 2026 for near 24/5 trading pending SEC approval. The London Stock Exchange testing starts late 2026 with launch in the first half of 2027. Blue Ocean ATS, Alternative Trading System, already offers overnight U.S. stock trading and has been live since 2021. So, like I said, with or without the Clarity Act, XRP has clarity. With or without the Clarity Act, the DTC has the no action letter. With or without Clarity Act, the SEC has already given the green light here for these stock markets to move 24/5. It's already underway. And so all of this DC dance and this distraction is to keep you and the average person away from buying the bottom of the bear market. Do not let the institutions, do not let Wall Street, do not let the suits take advantage of this for themselves without you getting a piece of this action. They are keeping you distracted in a way while the adoption, while the go live, while the no action letters allow the institutions like the DTCC to move forward with or without the Clarity Act. Now, we had to fight for our clarity. The DTCC and these other institutions, they just pen a little letter to the SEC, they get the green light, and they're good to go. But either way, we're at the point where, with or without the Clarity Act, we move forward. It's happening now. Hayden Adams, who is the founder of Uniswap, says 12 different Robinhood tokenized stocks currently above 500,000 in daily volume on Uniswap. And this is where it starts. GameStop, Nvidia, SpaceX, Apple, Alphabet, Intel, Tesla. These are Robinhood tokenized stocks trading on chain, on Uniswap. And so, as I continue to repeat, I don't care who wins. I just want a level playing field, and I want to see this action happening, and the action's happening. It starts with us, noting 500,000 in daily volume. That's a joke compared to what we see in the traditional markets, right? Billions of dollars traded every single day, right? But that's where this is going. This is the start. You start with 500,000 in daily volume, then you hit 1 million, then we hit tens of millions, and then next thing you know, billions of dollars will be traded on chain every single day. And if it happens on Uniswap, God bless them. If it happens on Canton, great. Stellar, yes. This is a multi-chain world, and this is why we've diversified into a few of these different assets. Now, into the Ripple XRP ecosystem, Ripple just makes another strategic investment in Nodabeen. Never heard of this platform, but apparently they're big. They actually settle $2 trillion on an annual basis through their platform. So they're going to collaborate to expand enterprise stablecoin payments by integrating RLUSD into Nodabeen Flow and exploring how trusted payment authorization can complement Ripple payments. So this will boost enterprise adoption for RLUSD. And Nodabeen runs the largest travel rule compliant network with 2,300 institutions across 100 plus jurisdictions, supporting over 2 trillion in annualized transaction volume. And this is what Ripple continues to do. Does Ripple need to go out and get 2,000 clients themselves? Do they need to go after the 11,000 member banks of SWIFT individually? No. Right? You go partner up with these institutions that already have the 2,000 plus institutions part of their network, and you make sure that RLUSD gets integrated. And as we explained in last night's live show, all of this is to drive value back to XRP and the XRP ecosystem, which is what they announced yesterday with Ripple Mint, which is a unified platform for institutions to access, mint, redeem, and manage RLUSD. It's a complete dashboard, user interface, and API to tap in here for complete RLUSD control, right? Built for scale with both UI, that's user interface, and API access. Ripple Mint gives institutions the flexibility to automate stablecoin operations, integrate RLUSD into existing systems, and manage digital dollar liquidity across chains, available to existing RLUSD users today. And as we read off, if you actually read that news release from Ripple, there's a specific line that we read off a couple times last night on the live show that talks about how all of this, all of the multi-chain, they're actually extending RLUSD to 4 Ethereum layer 2s. We already know that RLUSD is on Ethereum. Why did they do that? Because there's already liquidity, DeFi, ecosystem activity on Ethereum, and layer 2s on Ethereum. And they're extending RLUSD to 4 of those layer 2s, Base, Optimism, Inc., and maybe Arbitrum. There's one other. 4 total. And they specifically note right after that extending out to these other chains is to bring value accrual back to the XRP ecosystem, which in other words means bring value back to XRP. And we're really seeing all this get put together, like I said, with or without the Clarity Act. And the ETF flows continue to be positive as well. Chart Nerd says probably nothing. XRP spot ETFs have been overwhelmingly net positive since launch, with just 1 month outflow since November 2025, making the flow profile one of the cleanest institutional demand stories to date. Demand has been persistent even through the weakness. So we've only had 1 month of outflows, and I believe that was March, if I'm not mistaken. March. So basically when the Iran war started and the lows came in, you had 1 month of outflows, and it was pretty weak outflows. But other than that, it's been nothing but inflows. And now we turn to where XRP sits and how this market has broken below a support level, and how I think that you're getting the final and last buy opportunities for this bear market coming in over the next 30 to 60 days. XRP is now fast approaching the ascending support, which must hold to invalidate a drop to the local $1 low. Compression between the local rejection point on the daily 50 moving average and ascending support will ultimately lead to volatility. Let's take a look at this chart right here. So yesterday we got the rejection up of $1.16. Same rejection that we got at the beginning of the month, up at $1.20. We're not breaking out of this 50 daily moving average. That we're getting wicks above it, but then rejecting. And ultimately, we need to break above $1.25. And then to confirm that the bottom is in, right? When Cassie Trade showed us the chart, I talked about it on the Tuesday live show. The level to break above and confirm that the bottom is in is $1.65. So until we break above $1.65, we can't confirm that the bottom is in. And the setup that we're looking at right now, the fact that we broke below that $1.09 support, we did that this morning, going down to $1.08. It tells me that we're gearing up to make that last move towards $1, and very well could be the last buying opportunity below $1 coming in for XRP. So here's the ascending support. We must bounce. If not, where are we heading? I believe that we're heading back down to $1 again. And I wanted to update you guys on my buy orders for XRP. So back to the XRP price chart right here. Make sure you guys can see that. What I have done this last week is I've added 3 buy orders for XRP. So the first one is on Coinbase, and I'm adding to my XRP long position right at $1.05, which is where we went down to July 13th. And so I placed an order right above that level to add to my XRP long. And then I still have my buy orders at $1.01 on iTrust Capital, just adding to XRP spot bags. And then I have another one down here at 92 cents. 92 cents. So to add to my XRP long on Coinbase, I got a buy order at $1.05. And then I'm adding to my XRP spot bags over there on iTrust Capital, just keeping that in the premium custody account over there that I created. And I have buy orders at $1.01, and then another buy order at 92 cents. I have about 6 other buy orders on XLM and a few other cryptos as well too. If you guys want to learn about that, get tapped in with us on those, you can join our private community and get access to the Discord where we share all of that. Okay. But for me, I'm looking at the Clarity Act drama, Iran war, carry trade in Japan. There's enough here to say, okay, get your buy orders ready. Let them get filled up. Let the DC drama, Clarity Act drama play out. It brings in the bear market lows between now and the midterm elections. And then we'll be back into a bull run by the end of this year. And we'll be topping out into 2029 into the next cycle, which is going to be, we're going to make so much money. It's going to be great. But we're going to look back at this moment. You're going to say, thanks, Zach, for framing up this context for me. I was scared. I was full of FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. I was scared to be here. I was scared to invest. But you framed this up and you provided the context for me to have enough information for me to take action. I'm not going to tell you to buy the dip. I'm just explaining why I think another dip is coming, why I have my buy orders ready. And oh, by the way, if it doesn't come, if the bottom is in and we go into a bull run and we're off to the races, well, let's have a party. Let me know where you guys want to meet up at, because our bags are packed already. Right now, we're stuffing our bags over full, which is a good spot to be at. So, like I said, I got my buy orders on iTrust Capital. If you guys haven't checked them out, they're my sponsor. I got my premium custody account created, and I'm working on my other accounts as well too. But this is the premium custody account with free institutional grade custody, award-winning US-based customer support, low cost, no monthly fee. It's completely free. There's no AUM fees, none of that. And then you pair that up with their retirement fund product for your IRA, roll over the 401k over here. And then they also have the treasury account for your business, your LLC, your trust, or your nonprofit. Once again, all of their products, free institutional grade custody, US-based customer support. Use my link down below. Get your account funded for that $100 bonus. I took advantage of that myself too when I opened up my premium custody account. And I think I need to actually go check. I think I should have my bonus now. And I need to go set another buy order for more XRP with the $100 funding bonus that I got when I created my account too. So go take advantage of it. Get your buy orders set. We'll be doing our Discord weekly call tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. If you want to get tapped in, sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord. We'd love to have you in the family. If you appreciate this update, you know what to do. Another video is right here for you. The subscribe button's right there. We'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great weekend.